taking an ice cream break.
Well deserved.
A well-deserved ice cream break.
Yeah.
And so what have we been doing today?
The worst thing in the world, inventory. And culling. Because it's been 3 years and we have, you just keep adding to the pile. You don't think about, you got to cull, it'll eventually sell. But, space is limited and listings cost money, so we need to go through them. And, when you have returns and we've moved locations several times, things aren't always exactly where you expect them to be. So we're going to do an inventory and go through and inspect the shoes, because believe it or not, things like shoes, clothes, you don't have that problem, but shoes, you have the problem that they can disintegrate.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a climate-controlled building, heating, air conditioning. Our shoes are protected in bags. We do everything we can, but there's certain particular shoes, Echoes, Summit. SASs are more susceptible to heat, but we've got shoes that we come across that, we get a whole bucket over here. Danskos, that they're just the material that the heels and the soles are made out of actually just dissolve over time. I have 2 pairs in my own closet. Did the same thing.
So we've got bin right here. It's actually full of coals, and we're not even in a tenth of the way through our stuff. So
No.
So it's hard to say what we'll end up with when it's all done. But we have about 1,600 listings right now. Mm-hmm. That's down a little bit. We usually have a few more, but it's going to be a lot less after the next couple of days.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the stuff when we first started, we we didn't know what we were doing, quite frankly. We were buying stuff and
buying anything with a name on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is a pair of Cole Haans. This is going to sell. And then I'm looking at them now because I'm, looking and inspecting the ones that have, that are below a certain number, and going, would I buy these today? And I wouldn't. So if I'm not going to buy them today, I don't want to sell them today. We're different business than we were 3 years ago.
yeah.
Now they're good shoes, and we're going to give them back to either Goodwill or donate them to the church or something. So they're shoes. There's nothing wrong with them. And then we have our cutesy shoes that got to go because these fancy heels that aren't even a name brand. But I've come across some shoes that I don't know why they shouldn't have sold. They're great Sperry's, a nice pair of Sperry's, nice pair of Tommy's, and And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and because we're writing down the inventory. We're also taking a picture of them. We've got several ways of doing it, but I'm making a notation of those, and I'm going to specifically go in and tweak the listing.
Right.
And there's a bunch of little schools of thought. You should end it and relist it, and I don't know about all that, but I'm going to go in and tweak the listing anyways. I'm going to make sure all my item specifics are there, and because these really should sell. They're in really good shape, but we've had them forever.
One of the big things we're doing is the item specifics. eBay's real big on that right now, and they just sent out the fall sellers, a bulletin or whatever they call it, and it goes into all that about different things are required, and if you don't have those things, you're not going to get in searches as much as you would if you have those things. So we've realized that when we put these things into eBay back in 2017,
mm-hmm.
some of these things, these item specifics didn't even exist, let alone get plugged in. eBay tries to find something that kind of fits it and plugs it in for you, but that still doesn't really do it. And one of these days we'll do a video on how that item specific thing works and all that stuff to make sure you got all your item specifics. But as much as you can put in there in that section of the listing, the better. So.
Yeah, there's a little wheel there, like a little wagon wheel, and it slowly fills up. And then when it gets completely full, you get a little lightning bolt. So going forward, when we make listings, and I'm going to go retroactively and go through some of my listings, because I'm going to sort by price. I'm going to start with my highest price stuff first. But, and I'm going to make sure that lightning bolt appears. So I've put in enough item specifics to fill it, per se. But back in the beginning, I was just selling similar. You know, I'd click on someone else's listings, I'd update the size and maybe the color and roll with it. And really never addressed all the other things. And as eBay has evolved and those item specifics are becoming more and more important, and you know, it's like, so you know, it's time to tweak, and it's definitely time to cull things. You know,
Yeah.
in our inventory, we've purchased it's about 3,900,
Yeah,
almost 4,000
almost
items.
4,000 things.
and
through
I'm
the
getting
years.
rid of ones that are numbered 100, 97, 151.
Right.
Yeah.
And just so you know, our inventory is sequential, so it starts at. And actually, we had a few tests in there at the beginning, but it started about 38 or
38.
40, and then it goes. You know, every single time we get an item, it gets listed in our inventory. It's a little software I wrote, but and it keeps track of everything. So, but yeah, and we can follow it all the way through the process from.
And we
where
never
it's
have two
stored.
numbers of the
Right.
same.
They're always that number never used again, so it's always going to be going to be unique. So that's the concept. And with a unique number, you don't have to worry about ending up with two things with the same number, or you think you sold it and you didn't sell it. Those kind of things. So
And we do the same thing with our bins. Our bins are 1 through 90. You know,
yeah,
and in those bins, some are clothing bins, some are shoe bins, but they're just numbered. And you know, when we have a little inventory system, we just say, hey, you know, shoe 3596 is going in bin 12. You know, because there's
Right.
room in bin 12.
right. And we've got about what do we got? It's like 88 bins, I think, so far.
Yeah.
And some of those are holding shoes, and some are holding clothing. Some are. Then that's not to mention the other room. We've got the hard goods and stuff, but
And then we have our hanging stuff, you know, like big heavy winter coats and stuff, you know.
yeah. So,
We don't have a lot of that.
but everything gets a number. That's the main thing. And if you're smaller, you know, if you only got 50 things or 25 things or even a couple hundred things, you know, you probably don't need to go to that extreme. But you know, a spreadsheet's a good way to keep it. Just start a spreadsheet and start giving it a number. Everything you get, give it a number. Put a quick description of it, just so you know what it is. It don't have to be real detailed. And then put that number on your, on your item when you store it. And if you have more than one bin that you're storing stuff in, write the bin number beside it, and then you'll know where to go. So when something comes in, you just look down the list, find your number, go over to see what bin it's in, and go over to the bin and pull it. And that's basically how ours works. And it's like I say, the software helps and does some other stuff, but it really, you can do it all with